So this is the hip bone, okay? This is the articulated pelvis which is made up of two hip bones, the right bone and the left bone, and this is the sacrum, okay? So with the two hip bones and the sacrum together, this forms the pelvis, okay? Now the hip bone, which is the individual hip bone that looks like this, it is made up of three parts, okay? The upper expanded part is called as the ilium, okay? Then you have this part which is here, this is called as the pubis, and the lower part which supports body weight during sitting position is called ischium. Okay, all of us are sitting on the ischium. Clear? So this upper part is called ilium, the medial part of the is called pubis, and the inferior part is called as ischium. Okay. Now when you look at the articulated pelvis, you will see that the position of the pubis and the ischium is slightly different. When the pubis is medial and ischium is inferior, okay, or posterior inferior. But descriptions in the book, textbook, are given by holding the hip bone like this. Okay, this is not the anatomical position of the hip bone. In the books, they say that the ilium is the superior part. Okay, pubis is anterior inferior and ischium is posterior inferior. But for holding the bone in anatomical position, there are two landmarks which you should understand. The first one, if you can see here, this is called as anterior superior iliac spine. You can feel this in your own body also here. So this projection which you can feel here, that is anterior superior iliac spine. Okay. And then there is another elevation which should be present here. It is broken here in this bone. I will show you here. See, there is an elevation here on the pubis. This is called pubic tubercle. Pubic tubercle. This is anterior superior iliac spine, and this is the pubic tubercle. Both these parts or those have to be in the same plane, meaning the same horizontal plane. If you match them like this here, you have to pick it like this. So you will see that the hip or the pelvis or the hip bone will be slightly tilted. It is not straight like this. So anatomical position of the hip bone is the anterior superior iliac spine and pubic tubercle lie in the same horizontal plane or the coronal plane. Clear? So this is to be understood that descriptions in the textbook have been given holding the hip bone like this vertically, but the ideal anatomical position should be slightly tilted. The pelvis is tilted at an angle of 45 degrees with the horizontal. Clear? Now first we will talk about the ilium, okay, and we limit this to the ilium only. Now ilium is the upper expanded part of the hip bone. This has the upper part here, which you can feel here. This is called as the iliac crest. Okay, this is the iliac crest, and then there are three borders to the ilium. This is the anterior border, the posterior border, and the medial border. Okay, and there are three surfaces. This outer surface is called as the gluteal surface. Here, on the inside, this hollow part is called as iliac fossa, and then you have just below the medial border. This is sacropelvic surface. Okay. Now first, the most important part of the ilium, which is the iliac crest. Now the iliac crest is a very important part which is going to extend from anterior superior iliac spine here, and there is another elevation posterior here. This is called posterior superior iliac spine. Okay, you need to identify anterior and posterior correctly first. Pubis is anterior, so this is going to be anterior superior iliac spine, and behind here is posterior superior iliac spine. So iliac crest is going to extend from anterior superior iliac spine to posterior superior iliac spine. Clear? Now this iliac crest, if you look at it from the superior side, it is convex. There is a convexity, and if you look at it from the side, it looks like the clavicle. It is concave or convex. The anterior part is convex and the posterior part it is concave. And it is like the clavicle. Again, you have medial 2/3 and lateral 1/3. This will be divided into anterior 2/3 and posterior 1/3. So iliac crest will have first. What are the points of the iliac crest? It will extend from anterior superior iliac spine to posterior superior iliac spine. It is convex from when you look at it from the above, and concave or convex when you look at it from the sides. Okay, and this is divided into two parts: the anterior 2/3 of the iliac crest and posterior 1/3 of the iliac crest. This is divided by the medial border, meaning what lies in front of the medial border is going to be the anterior 2/3, and what lies behind the medial border is going to be the posterior 1/3. It's clear till here? Now we'll concentrate only on the anterior 2/3. Okay. Now anterior 2/3 of the iliac crest has three parts. Okay, or you can say there are three lips. This is called as the outer lip, which is facing outside. This is called as the inner lip, and this is the intermediate area. Okay, so outer lip, inner lip and intermediate area. These are the three parts which are going to be there in the anterior 2/3 of the iliac crest. Now what are the features on the anterior 2/3? You can see this is anterior superior iliac spine. Just behind, about 5 to 7 centimeters behind the anterior superior iliac spine, you can see an elevation here. This is the tubercle of the iliac crest. This is called tubercle of the iliac crest. Clear? And nothing else on the outer border. Then you have the intermediate area and then the inner lip. Okay, so you have the outer lip, inner lip and intermediate area. On the outer lip you have tubercle of iliac crest. Okay, the posterior 1/3, which is a smaller part, has the outer slope and inner slope. Okay, this is called as the outer slope and this is called as the inner slope. Clear? Another important thing which you should know about the iliac crest is that when you look at the convexity of the iliac crest, the highest point comes somewhere here. Okay, so this highest point, if you mark here the highest point of the iliac crest and trace this point backwards, this should correspond between 4th and 5th lumbar vertebrae. That is a very, very important anatomical landmark, because lumbar puncture is done at that level. Safely, if you want to do a lumbar puncture for aspirating CSF, it should be done between 4th and 5th lumbar vertebra, and that point is marked by taking the highest point of the iliac crest as a reference mark, and then you turn here and you go to the space between 4th and 5th lumbar vertebra. That is the significance of the highest point of the iliac crest. Clear? Now, that is about the iliac crest. Muscle attachments we will take later. Now the other things which are there in the ilium are the anterior border. So this is the anterior border. Now what are the things which are there in the anterior border? First, you have the anterior superior iliac spine. Then you see a notch below this, and then there is another elevation here which is called anterior inferior iliac spine. Okay, so this is anterior superior iliac spine. There is a notch below this, and then there is anterior inferior iliac spine. Clear? And then you can see that this line will go and you will see a hollow opening here. This is called as the acetabulum, where the femur is going to articulate here to form the hip joint. Okay, that is the anterior border. Then the posterior border, again, if you can see here, there is an elevation which is called posterior superior iliac spine. Another notch like the anterior thing. Another elevation here which is called posterior inferior iliac spine. Then there is a big notch here which is called greater sciatic notch. And then you can see a sharp thing here which is called as the ischial spine. And that's the lower part you will see lesser sciatic notch. I will repeat again. This is posterior superior iliac spine. The notch below this, then you have posterior inferior iliac spine, then you have the greater sciatic notch, the ischial spine and lesser sciatic notch. So this whole constitutes the posterior border. Now the inner border which is there here, this is the medial border which is going to separate two surfaces. This surface is called as the iliac fossa and this surface is sacropelvic surface. Okay, and if you see that this medial border, you can trace it further. This line, when it is traced further, this is called as the arcuate line. Okay, now this arcuate line is important because, see, if you check here, this is the medial border, the sacropelvic surface, because sacrum is going to articulate here, and the continuation of the medial border ahead, which is called as arcuate line. Now this line, when both the bones come together, this line forms the line of partition between what is called as the false pelvis and the true pelvis. Or this is also called as greater pelvis and the lesser pelvis. Now this is the true pelvis because the organs of the pelvis are here. In males you have only two organs here, anteriorly urinary bladder, posteriorly rectum. In females there are three organs here, anteriorly urinary bladder, in middle you will have the uterus and posteriorly you have the rectum. So this portion is below the arcuate line will be the true pelvis, and above this you have the coils of the intestine which is the greater pelvis or the false pelvis. Okay. So these are the three borders which I told you, and the three surfaces which are there here. This outer surface is called as gluteal surface. The inner concave part is called as the iliac fossa, and then you have the sacropelvic surface. Okay?